What's up, Silver Stackers? Thank you so much for being here. This is Silver Slayer. Silver's price is not out of the woods yet, folks, but it does consolidate under the $20 mark. Now, here's the 5-day chart. You could see it was standing strong around $20, but then the inevitable happened. It broke below 20, that psychological $20 level, and I told you all that if it breaks below that level, it's going to get ugly fast. Dropped all the way down to $19.33 at one point. But it is starting to hold its ground. Here's the 1-day chart. You can see there's a lot of support around here, which is good news. Now, the first article is talking about why silver's not out of the woods yet, so it's looking more forwards. But then I have another article is going to be talking about why the price is falling. So we're going to be looking at both the right now and also moving forwards. I wanted to put those two articles into this video because I think it's going to be extremely important and just educational, just to look at why it's happening and what's about to happen next. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this. Hopefully I put together a good video. I tried to bring some different articles to the table to show not just one topic, but more of a overall general idea of what silver's doing right now. Now, I also wanted to shout out Bullionmax. Since prices are down, it's a perfect entry point. But if you want an opportunity to get 5 ounces of silver at below employed pricing, then go to bullionmax.com/silverslayer. This is a silver starter kit. Now, if you guys don't know, companies do starter kits as kind of like an entry point, a great way to get some high premium, extremely high premium silver at a discount. It's only one per household, and that's because it's such a good deal. So what you do is, you buy this one-time deal, but you're getting coins like a Type 2 Eagle, the New Britannias, high premium coins at a discount. So if you want to check this out, go to bullionmax.com/silverslayer. They just gave the winner of my giveaway a 10-ounce bar as well. So shout out to them. Amazing company. So when we're looking at the price of silver, yes, a lot of people are going to freak out, but I think the true stackers are going to be happy. Fear, uncertainty, doubt always takes people out. Like back at the 5-day chart, you can see right here, as soon as it broke below, people saw that $19 price instead of 20, even if it's a penny off, right? Just like at stores. Stores are going to mark something $19.99, not $20.05. Even though it's only a 6-penny difference, just seeing the number 19, the price of $19 looks so much cheaper. And that's what happened. People freaked out and panic sold. So when we're going over both of these articles, I highly recommend you stick through both, since both are extremely important articles to cover, but I am going to start putting timestamps in my videos. So if you want to see when I cover this next article, you can just click ahead. I don't recommend you do that, but now, yeah, every different conversation or topic I bring up, you can click right to that, and it will be labeled of when I start to talk about that specific topic. Both of these articles will be in the description. So the silver price analysis. Silver's price is not out of the woods yet, but it does consolidate below the $20 mark. Silver remained well within the striking distance of a 2-year low touched on Friday. Friday's breakdown through a descending trend channel still favors bearish trade. And remember, July is a pretty bearish month for silver, so that's even worse. Oversold RSI on short-term charts of the precious metal warrants caution for bearish bets. Silver failed to capitalize on Friday's goodish recovery move from a 2-year low and witnessed subdued range-bound price action on the first day of the new week. Silver's price remained confined in a narrow band through early European session and was last seen trading around $19.85 in that area, and that's down 0.2% for the day. Given Friday's convincing break below the 1-month-old descending trend channel support, the near-term bias still seems tilted in favor of the bears. And that said, the RSI 14 on the 4-hour daily charts flashing oversold conditions and warrants some caution before positioning for an extension of a nearly 1-month-old descending channel. Now, let's keep moving on. The mixed technical setup makes it prudent to wait for some near-term consolidation or modest rebound before the next leg down. Nevertheless, silver's price remains vulnerable to retest the year-to-date lows, and that's around $19.40 and $19.35, which you see it pretty much is, right? As soon as we got to that $19.40, it's holding its ground. So will it stay there? Who knows? We're gonna find out in the next article. I think we'll touch more on it. This is kind of just talking about why it's not out of the woodwork. So yeah, so to prolong the depreciating move towards the next relevant support near this $19 mark. Now on the flip side, any meaningful positive move beyond $20, that psychological mark might confront hurdles near the descending trend channel support or that break point, currently around $20.25 region. This said area should now act as a pivotal point above which silver's price could extend the recovery momentum towards $20.55, maybe even 60 cents, and that's the horizontal zone. Some follow-through buying beyond the latter would negate the near-term bearish outlook and trigger a short-term covering rally, which that's expected. Every time the price goes down, especially for silver, down almost $1, we're talking like 70 cents, it's going to recover. It's going to, and it's called recovering because that's what's happening, right? If it goes way, way, way up, it's going to correct back down a little bit because that's overbought territory. If it's going to go down a lot, it's going to correct a little bit because that's oversold territory. So anyways, that might then surpass the $21 mark and aim to challenge $21.40. And that's the confluence compromising the top end of an aforementioned descending channel at the 200 period SMA on the 4-hour chart. So now let's look more into, the context. So silver sinks below the pivotal $20 mark. More than a year after the Reddit-fueled silver short squeeze, dubbed the world's biggest short squeeze, which I could beg to differ. I could say the Hunt brothers was the biggest short squeeze. I mean, yes, they're two different situations, but ideally they had the same goal. But the Hunt brothers owned up to 77% of the global silver supply. Reddit definitely had nothing compared to that. Anyways, this is which pushed silver prices up to nearly 8-year highs. The metal is now trading near 2-year lows. The precious metal has recently dipped below the psychologically important $20 per troy ounce level and was trading at around $19.80 at the time of writing. Now, this was written, I'm assuming yesterday, July 4th, and things got a little crazy after this article was written. Now, not only that, silver's also crashed about 26% since its March highs, seen at the beginning of the conflict between those two countries, and that's when most precious metals had rallied, right? And that's so interesting that silver is already taking on a life of its own, which can be good or bad. In this situation, it was obviously bad, right? Silver crashed 26%, while, like they said, most precious metals were rallying. Now, what's interesting to see is silver lagged behind. Anyway, and I think that has to do because silver is also an industrial metal beyond most of these other metals. Plus, silver is a much, much smaller market than gold is. That's why it's more volatile and more risky. Also why there's more opportunity, though, as well. So this has largely been due to an escalating U.S. dollar and central banks across the world determined to tighten monetary policy to combat decade-high inflation. So, like, we just talked about at the time of this article was right when it broke below 19 or below $20, and now it's down pretty low. Now we kind of saw the outcome of that as we look at this article that was written a little bit after. So why is silver's price falling now? So silver's been tracking gold's footsteps, which recently hit a 5-month low due to a stronger dollar and rising interest rates by the U.S. Federal Reserve. Now we all know the obvious, blatantly obvious, that yes, the dollar might have been stronger over the last week or so, but we know where the dollar's headed, and that is in the gutter. The dollar is going to collapse. It's not if, but when. We already know that. And since that's such an obvious statement, since we know that that's inevitable, then it's a no-brainer that precious metals, especially since there's a negative correlation, or I guess a direct negative correlation between silver's price and the dollar's price, right? When the dollar index is up, gold and silver is down, and vice versa. Since we know the dollar is going to crash, then precious metals, it's almost proof. I mean, that is proof that precious metals will be the one that comes out on top. Silver stackers always get the last laugh. So anyways, the US Fed has already raised interest rates by 0.75% in June, with an identical hike looking increasingly likely for July as well. Furthermore, the US Central Bank has hinted heavily towards an additional 0.5% hike in September as well. This persistent monetary policy tightening has put precious metals under significant pressure in the last few weeks. Now, according to the LBMA, which is the London Bullion Market Association, silver supplies recovered at a much faster rate than demand. And that's with the biggest surge in supply coming from Latin America. This has largely been due to the restrictions in countries such as Mexico and Peru. And by the way, those two countries alone produce nearly 40%, nearly half of the global silver supply. Those two countries alone. Those are some of the world's major silver producers, been lifted much earlier than the rest of the world. Now, why that was so important is because since Mexico and Peru, those two countries accumulate nearly half of, the world's silver production. Those two countries also got hit extremely hard from the global situation. But since their restrictions are lifted earlier, that's going to help production, obviously. So in 2021, silver production as a byproduct, meaning found by accident when they're looking for gold, copper, lead, zinc, from copper mining operations grew about 9%. So operations grew 9% from finding silver by accident, whereas primary silver output jumped about 2%. However, silver demand, especially jewelry demand in top consumers, India and China, dropped as in-store jewelry sales fell, and that's due to a number of stores being closed. So who are the main silver miners, who are these silver miners that are affected? One of the prominent is the Mexican silver miner, and that's fallen about 43% since March 22 highs. It's so funny to think that in March 2020, silver was $11. But anyways, I'm not going to really go into all these mining companies. That's pretty much irrelevant. I don't really care about that type of stuff. But what's the outlook for silver prices? So China and India together account for approximately 40% of silver fabrication demand. India's situation has been improving somewhat over the last few months. China's dealing with a fresh wave of cases. China is currently also dealing with soaring energy prices, which has caused a number of smelters and mills to shut down. As such, the silver outlook for the rest of the year is looking pretty grim, with even lower silver demand for the short to medium term. According to the LBMA, this year could also see lower silver demand coming from industrial use following increasing worries about stagflation, a scenario of reduced economic growth and increased inflation, which is likely to lead to reductions in sales of electronics, automobiles, which drive considerable silver industrial demand. Now we know that's, a very temporary thing, by the entire world going green within the next decade. That's a thing that's not going to just kind of temporarily or I guess hold its ground. But anyways, mine production in Latin America especially is expected to keep surging, with global mine output likely to inch about 3% this year, mainly led by Mexico, Peru, and China. The top 5-6 silver producers are Mexico, Peru, China, Australia. What's another one? Russia is one of them. This is likely to depress silver prices further in short term to at least. However, declining supply from Kazakhstan, Australia, and Russia are likely to put a floor on prices, stabilizing the silver outlook somewhat. So according to ANZ, silver prices could settle around $26 per ounce by the end of the year. Wow, that's pretty bullish. Although a number of silver miners are also expected to cut production guidance due to rising energy prices and low demand. The second half of the year is expected to be better than the disappointing first quarter. The rise of photovoltaic industry, which is PV cells also used in solar panels, could play a significant role in boosting silver prices further. Because there is a direct correlation between silver demand and silver's price, and that we know that the demand is going to be double, tripling, quadrupling, quintupling over the next 10 years as we go completely green. And since there's a direct correlation between silver demand and silver prices, 1 plus 1 can only equal 2. You know, and that's why they said that as demand would rise in solar panels, photovoltaics, that would be pushing the price further. It's kind of funny though, because silver miners cut production when demand is lower. Now you could see why we're never going to get ahead of the curve, because when demand is high, production is, I mean, when demand is low, they should be boosting production to at least catch up, right? But they don't do that. It's so silly. And that's why there's the silver shortage, or the supply deficit's always going to be on the brink of things, barely holding on by a string. And that's because miners, especially since silver is so cheap, would rather look for gold and things that are, 85, 90 times more valuable. The gold to silver ratio being at 91 to 1 right now. So yeah, I want to take a second to give a shout out to my channel sponsor, Bullionmax.com. I'm honored to be working with one of the best bullion dealers online. Great prices, great deals, and by far the best packaging out of any company that I've ever seen. They even offer a silver starter kit, which is 5 ounces of silver at below employee pricing, with extremely high premium coins for a great deal. It's only one per household, but a great way to lower your dollar per ounce average a bit and get a chance to grab some great coins. So shout out to Bullionmax, such a great company, always sending me silver to give away to my subscribers as well. Bullionmax.com, and if you want the starter kit, go to bullionmax.com/silverslayer. And also make sure to go to ag47apparel.com if you want to express your love for precious metals with the clothes on your back. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.